Okay, so y'all, I don't know how I'm gonna follow that. Like, I'm just gonna be real for like 2 minutes. Like, that was real. Like, she got up here and was like, I'm from Selma, Alabama. Like, that is real, right? Then it's like, oh, here's his first year law student. Like, that's just amazing. So one,
I'm proud of you.
thank you. So I'm just incredibly honored to be invited by Attorney Mitchell. Just her dedication is just truly admirable. So I'm just so thankful that she has invited me to give you, I guess, some encouragement words. Hopefully it'll be encouraging to myself as well. Secondly, I know she told you all not to take notes, but I don't even know how I ended up on the same row as these phenomenal people sitting to my left and to my right. So can we just give them another round of applause? Okay, so before I went to law school, I used to teach. And so as being a teacher, I'm used to engagement. So I don't even know how I'm just gonna talk to you and not expect some sort of engagement. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions about yourself, and you can just raise your hand, or you cannot raise your hand, or I really would like for you to participate. So the first thing, this is just a basic practice. Please raise your hand if you have an Instagram. Okay, take your phone out, go to your Instagram. I want you to take a birthday selfie with me, please. So if you can hold your picture, like turn your phone around and take a birthday picture with me, because I'm celebrating my birthday and I'm so excited to be with you. So you can make a hashtag, happy birthday, and then I'll find it and I'll be like, hey, I was at the conference. I would appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I only see like 4 phones up though. Don't laugh and clap, like take the picture. Like, what are y'all doing? Okay, 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now as college students, I know that you've gotten the urge to use your Instagram out of the way, so you can go ahead and put your phone back away wherever it was. Okay, the second questions, just the second set of questions are along the more serious lines. Can you please raise your hand if you went to high school or lived in an area where people mostly looked like you? Okay, can you raise your hand if those people also have the same sort of family income or financial situation as you are, live in that neighborhood? Okay, so, and also just raise your hand if you came from a background where people's class backgrounds was very, very different. Okay, great. Oh, wow, that's like really, really interesting. So I know that I'm really, really committed to racial justice, but I just want to talk about one area that I was not used to in college, in law school, and that's socioeconomic diversity. So I know when a young lady came up here and read my bio, I can't believe I call her a young lady, that means I'm really Asian. When a young lady came up here and read my bio, she said something about, me being a member of a marginalized community. And I think that sometimes when people hear diversity, it's automatically a proxy for race. But when I went to law school, I didn't have to come out as black. I didn't have to be like, oh, like, yo, these are my struggles as a black person. I think that sometimes some of those struggles are apparent, and it's super, super, super important that we advocate for those. And I just remember being in your seat and coming to this conference when it was the Black Pre-Law Conference in Texas, and just wanted to ask so many questions that I felt were really personal, but I also felt those questions were really, really real to me. And I was really embarrassed to ask because I just didn't know how to come out as being a poor person. Like, I think that the law profession is so elite, it's so prestigious, everyone's throwing you their accomplishments, you're sitting there like, whoa, like, how'd you get to that? You was cum laude here, you went to this, you won this fellowship, and that's great, because people are gonna be resume thumping their entire life, but no one wants to raise their hand and ask, hey, how am I gonna afford law school when I'm the person in my family who makes the most money and I'm in college? No one ever, have y'all had a question like that at this? You've heard a question like that? How many times? Okay, at least twice. But everyone always asks, how did you study for the LSAT? And that's a really, really important question. But I think that once you get to law school, you have to learn how to ask questions that are going to impact like you personally. And it's really, really important to ask tough questions. It's really, really important to ask genuine questions. But sometimes we put ourselves in a position where we want to appear to be elite, where we want to appear to be prestigious, where we want to appear to act like we're asking a question just to show that we know just enough about what we're asking to make an impression. So we sit the entire panel coming up with, ooh, I'm about to kill him with this question. We do that, y'all know y'all do that. I know I do it, even in class. I'm like, ooh, I'm about to kill this professor with this question. He don't even know it's coming. He don't even know. I'm gonna let him know I read 112 pages last night for one class. I'm gonna let him know that. So like, we frame our questions in a way where we wanna present information. But one thing I absolutely beg of you, and I don't know if this is particularly inspirational, but I think is useful. Ask questions that are genuine and unique to you. Build relationships with people who you feel like you can go to and ask really tough questions and really honest questions, because that's ultimately what's going to lead to your success. People always say there's no such thing as a stupid question. Like, I agree with that to a certain degree. Like, I know when y'all in arguments and you trying to win, you pull out your phone and you Google information and be like, boom, he was in this movie part 3. Like, information is at your fingertips so quickly. So I think that questions are not the strongest when you have the power and the capacity to find the answer out yourself. I think the tougher questions, those are the questions that you really need to build relationships for. And I think that it's so important to ask people information that's personal to them if you think it relates to you. Like, I'm just being completely honest. Like, one question that I was really terrified before going to law school was about locking my hair. I felt like I had a complex about my hair. I felt like my name sounded too black. I was really scared about going to an institution and being accepted as someone who is serious and articulate. I had all these real questions. So when I came to one of these panels and I saw someone who had locks, I was like, yo, you in corporate law? And your locks are in the updo? Oh my gosh. What does that feel like? What is that like? How do your colleagues treat you? Do you feel like you're treated differently? Like, tell me about this. And she was like, girl, I've been waiting for someone to ask me about my hair. I just got it done. Like, she was really proud. So I think that she saw that I needed a piece of information that was very useful to me, very relevant to me, and she opened up to me because of that. And I think that if you don't really, really dig down and deep and think about those questions that are useful to your situation beyond information that you can Google, I don't think personally you should ever ask a dean of a law school that you're interested in, how many people do you accept? Because that's probably on the law school's website. That's information that you can get. You can use that to form your fancy question that you can eventually ask. Like, that information is going to be available, but what may not be on the website, hey, I noticed that you only accepted 10% of your class. What were some reasons you rejected candidates? Why? Why are you rejecting? Is it just their school? Oh my gosh, I'm sick, sorry. Where do you finding students of color or students from poor backgrounds are failing and becoming competitive candidates? Like, those questions are important to me. When I got into Harvard, I was like, yo, like, this happened, right? Like, mom, I got into HLS. And so I remember the Black Law Students Association members calling out to me and saying, Derecka, like, congratulations, we're so excited. And my first question was, hey, I went to this, medium-sized institution in the Midwest. What is that gonna be like coming from this type of school and going to an Ivy League institution? Who can I talk to who went to like a regular public state school? Because to my impression of Harvard, everyone went to Harvard College, everyone went to Yale, people went to Penn and Stanford and Columbia and Brown and Dartmouth. But who can I talk to who came from my situation and who is successful? So I think that finding those people who can really ask those really, really deep and tough questions that are relevant to you, I cannot emphasize that enough. The last little personal anecdote, So 2 years ago, I got pregnant. My husband and I found out we were expecting a baby. And there were some people who told me to like not go to law school. Like, don't do it. Like, why? Girl, you about to be a mama. Like, you about to be somebody's mama. Why would you go into your first year of law school, like as a wife, as a mom? Like, you should just like really chill. And I remember talking to women who were lawyers, women who had babies in law school, women who decided that they just decided not to have children. That was a personal decision they chose to make. And I remember talking to Attorney Mitchell, and she was just like, yo, you can do anything. Like, people do hard things every single day. Every single day. And so, like, who am I to think, like, oh, man, it's going to be so hard for me to have a baby at Harvard when there are women who are fleeing war with children? Like, is it really that hard? Is it challenging? Maybe. You know what's challenging? Like when you're a mom and you got 6 kids and you making $300 a month like my mom did. That's hard. Like, don't tell me a final exam is hard, but are you eating tonight? Like, those things are hard. So think about and try to prioritize things that you can prepare for, and also just try to think about people who are in situations relative to your personal situation, and just think about the privileges that you have that's gonna propel you forward. Think about the resources that you have that's gonna propel you forward. And I think as long as you stay genuine, build those relationships, and ask tough questions, I think you guys are gonna do great. You're gonna do great. So thank you again for having me. I can't believe I only coughed one time. I was really nervous about that because my voice is almost gone. But just thank you so much. I appreciate it.